on over.
I'm Chris, a recovering Yankee living in the South. If having company for coffee, dinner, or even a last-minute popover sends you into a fit of panic, I can show you a few tips for being a great host or hostess anytime, day or night. So tune in, take notes, and learn to be fearless in saying, "Come on over."
Dinner does not have to be expensive or gourmet to be company good. How do I know this? I grew up on a farm in Michigan, and I watched my mom and my grandmother prepare meals, snacks, lunch, dinner, all kinds of things for anywhere for 5 to 10 to 15 people, and it seemed effortless. I'm sure that it wasn't, but they got really good at it, and I learned next to the apron on how to do that myself. So when I joined the adult world and I left the farm, I thought everybody knew how to have somebody for dinner, have somebody for lunch, coffee, tea, a bonfire, a game night, and I found out that there is a lost art in having company. Well, I'm going to show you some tricks and tips, some hacks if you want to call it, on how to have somebody over and make them feel special. I can do it, you can do it. What we're doing first is we're searing the roast. Now, I used to be anti-sear the roast. It's going in the crock pot. It's supposed to be easy. Why sear? Then I seared the roast. And what happened was the flavor increased dramatically. So you want to get really hot oil going. I've used canola oil because it has a higher heat point. And then I've patted this roast, this beautiful, beautiful roast dry. And I'm going to add salt and pepper to the top because I'm going to basically, see it smoking? I'm going to sear it right in. Now you're going to hear this nice little sizzle when it goes in because that oil is really hot. So if you want to save your skin and your stove, you can put a lid on it. Before I flip it in about 4 minutes, let's set the timer for 4 minutes. We're going to salt and pepper the top of it before we flip it. And we're going to flip it carefully. We've got about 15 seconds before we have to flip this, and it's super hot, but I want you to look at the caramelization that happens on the other side by searing. So I'm going to go ahead and bravely, very bravely lift the lid. Camera went off. And I'm going to get in here with my tongs and my flipper and look at the beauty of that sear. I was doing a child just for a second. The beauty of the sear. We are going to, I didn't salt and pepper the other side. That's what happens sometimes. It's okay. The flavor will still be there. You put the lid back on and let it go for another 4 minutes. And pick this up and put it right in the crock pot. Now, I cannot stress this part enough. For all that is holy,
Holy ravioli!
take this beautiful sizzling au jus, and I want you to pour that right over the top of the crock pot. We don't want to waste that beautiful liquid that has been searing that whole time. All right, now this is why this recipe is so easy. It's because all it is really 5 ingredients. Our second ingredient, ranch seasoning, they call it. You literally dump. Woo-hoo-hoo! We're going to just dump right over the top. It doesn't have to be special in any way, just dumping, dumping, dumping. Check. Au jus gravy. Also, rip and dump. Dumping, 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 dumping on the roast. It looks hideous at this point. Ooh, no, but it's not. Now we're going to take probably the biggest surprise of this dish, and these are pepperoncinis. I may even be saying that wrong, don't know. Funny thing about this, usually it calls for whole pepperoncinis, and I sent Jimmy, my husband, to the store for pepperoncinis, and he came back with sliced. And I thought, all right, we'll use sliced. It's even better. And just look how I'm dumping. I am literally dumping. I'm dumping, you know, what's left of this jar, and I'm also dumping the pepperoncini liquid that has been soaking in. About a quarter cup would be good, but just use what you have. Then I'm gonna go all Paula Deen here, and I'm going to add a stick of butter. That's right, a whole stick of butter. I'm a big fan of salted butter. Just use what you have. If you have unsalted, use that. Right on top. And again, this is not the most attractive look, but it will be. Now we like to throw in some carrots, just for, you know, a little bit of orange fun. So I literally just dump in carrots. And that is the entire assembly of the Mississippi pot roast. We're gonna move it to the crock pot. We're gonna set it on low for about 8 hours. If you don't have 8 hours, you can set it on high for 4. I think meat is always more tender and more juicy and fall apart if you go on the low setting. It's up to you. Use the time you have. You know, that Mississippi pot roast is such a generous helping. I'm gonna call my friend Fran and see if she wants to join us tonight. I hope she says yes.
Hello?
Hey girl!
Hey Chris, how are you?
Good. Listen, we are making the Mississippi pot roast tonight, and we're serving the Jimmy Martini. Would you like to join us?
Well, how can you turn down that kind of an invitation?
Right?
I would love to. And what can I bring?
Oh, the magic words. Well, for Jimmy, you could bring a red wine, or actually you could bring it for me too, but he would really like a dessert. And you know, we don't do dessert. So if you bring that, that would be great.
I'm happy to do it. What time?
Let's say 6:30.
Sounds great.
Okay.
I'll see y'all then, and I look forward to it.
Hey girl, come on over.
Look who's here.
Hey girl!
Wine
And,
for
wine?
dinner and chocolate for dessert.
My
and the
favorite
Jimmy
friend.
for
Oh.
you.
Who's that guy?
I can't even blame this on Jimmy. Jimmy, it's like he goes, it's like magic. Jimmy, my husband. So my husband, Jimmy, is a croquet fanatic. That would be way too much height for him, which is why I would leave it there. The roast is ready, and I'm gonna plate it right here at the bar and take the plates to the table. Now, normally we serve this over mashed potatoes because that's awesome. Usually we make the mashed potatoes, but if you don't have time to make mashed potatoes, that's perfectly fine because Bob Evans has made the mashed potatoes for you. And I tell everyone, if you don't have time to make your own, please go buy the Bob Evans because they're very, very good. So this is semi-homemade. You saw me make the roast earlier. Now we're gonna let Bob do his own little work right here. So what I generally do is I take a pretty good serving of mashed potatoes and put it on the side. Isn't that beautiful? And then I get a really good serving of the roast. And for this, we need the big spoon. This is gonna be Jimmy's serving, and he really likes this. So
Nom nom.
we're gonna give him a good side of roast. And in this roast, I don't know if you remember, there are carrots. So he loves carrots. We're gonna give him some carrots that have been soaking in this au jus all afternoon, all day, really. And he doesn't like a lot of the au jus, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more over the top. And isn't that beautiful? That was so easy to make. Here, Fran, would you like to pass that along to Jimmy? All right, I'm just gonna serve up the other 2 plates, and then we will be ready to eat. Oh, the roast. And the smell of this with the peppers in here is just delightful. The peppers are what really give this roast a kick. Don't you think, Fran? The peppers really add.
Yes.
And it's not something that I would normally go out and buy a jar of pepperoncinis, but that's what the recipe called for, and so that's what I did. Now, what is so special about this meal? Well, it smells great, it tastes great, it's beautiful to present, and it's very easy to do. So, what I want you to do is go out and make someone feel special with a homemade meal today. Jimmy is famous for coming in. Makes me crazy. He'll come in and he will lift the lid of the crock pot. You're never supposed to lift the lid, and he'll go, wow, and I'm like, put the lid down! Cray, cray. Jimmy says when I say cray, cray, it's like I'm trying to be a teenager.
Do you want this one too?
I work with teenagers, so therefore I am cray, cray, right? Cray, cray, good. Do you know who this would not bother? Keanu. You know, he'd just be going, it's all cool, man. It's all cool. I've learned in my adult life that, clearly I've learned nothing because nothing is coming out of my mouth. Great, come on over.
I'm sorry I messed that up. Oh no. Go ahead.
See what I have to work with here?
Come on over. Now go make someone feel special today.